let's put to bed this theory once and for all, that it's Israel that hasn't wanted peace, that Israel that's been the aggressor, that if only Israel would have leaders that wanted peace, it would solve all the problems of the Israeli-Palestinian conflict. Watch Hillary Clinton talking about the attempts that her and her husband made, Bill Clinton, to try and create a two-state solution, which was obviously doomed from the start. But let's hear her words, because she makes it absolutely unequivocal.
My husband, with the Israeli government at the time in 2000, offered a Palestinian state to the Palestinians, at that time run by Arafat, Yasser Arafat. Arafat turned that down. There would have been a Palestinian state now for 23 years if he had not walked away from it. There was another attempt when I was Secretary of State to try to, bring the Palestinians and the Israelis together. That didn't work out. Israel left Gaza in 2005 and forcibly ejected 50,000 Israelis who were living in Gaza. They left all of their infrastructure. They had a big infrastructure of greenhouses where they were supplying fruits, vegetables, flowers, etc. And the Palestinians deserved to have a productive, successful economy in Gaza. Hamas came in and basically destroyed all of that and killed a lot of other Palestinians. So my husband...
So there you go. It's mad that this needs to be stated so clearly, because anyone that's following the news should see that there is clearly a widespread culture of Jew hatred and animosity to the Jewish state and any sense of equality between Jews and Arabs. They can't bear the culture that informs the Palestinian cause. It's a 1500-year culture that has wanted Jews to be second-class citizens, dhimmis, and basically to wander the earth and to suffer until they either die or convert to Islam, because their narrative of history is that Islam is going to supersede Judaism. And of course, the re-establishment of Israel, of a Jewish state, is such a theological conundrum to them. How do you make sense of that? God showing grace to the Jews? Well, it must be an evil state and it must be destroyed. Otherwise, it's far too humiliating for our whole narrative of history. And Hillary makes this absolutely clear. Anyone that thinks this is just about a land squabble and they just want some kind of state, they didn't want one in 1947. Before there was any displacement at all, there were Jews and Arabs legally, rightfully living there. No one had been pushed around and forced out en masse. And they refused. They refused to accept that, and they launched the war, and that's what led to the displacement in 1948. By the way, no one talks about the fact that an even higher amount of Jews were displaced during that war from Arab countries, but Israel absorbed them. But no one talks about that. Hillary makes it absolutely clear that they were being offered everything they were purportedly asking for, and they said no. The reason they said no is because it's not about a Palestinian self-determination. It's about the Jews having a state. It's about the Jews starting to do well. It's about the Jewish people seeming to reflect divine favour. That is intolerable for them. And so we have to stop indulging this notion of a two-state solution. It's not what they want. And for as long as we feed the notion, we're actually feeding the problem. Because for as long as we feed the notion, we are telling them, yeah, you've got a point. Yeah, maybe it is your land. They're thinking, well, yeah, we want it all then. You're right. I heard a brilliant analogy recently where King Solomon was approached by two women fighting over a baby, both saying it was theirs. And King Solomon said, well, you can't come to an agreement, so I'm going to chop the baby in two and you can each have a half. And one of the women said, no. Just let her take it then. And he said, give that woman that said that the baby. Because she demonstrated that it was her baby, because any mother would rather see their child live, because it really is theirs. So the analogy works like this, that for as long as we say, well, let's divide the land, versus the Palestinians saying, no, we want all of it, it's just like the mother. The one that says let's divide it doesn't really own it. That seems to be the message you get across, because you're saying, okay, we'll come to some kind of compromise. That would imply you kind of believe what they're saying a bit. But the one that says no, it's all or nothing, it's more convincing. It shows that they really do believe it. And so actually what we're telling them by talking about two-state solution is, yeah, we kind of feel a bit guilty. We think you've got a point. And it spurs them on. So we have to declare the truth unequivocally. Israel, including Gaza and Judea and Samaria, is the Jewish peoples. The Palestinians, by their own admission, are a made-up people. They are just Arabs. And while Israel has always been perfectly happy to live alongside them, even happy to indulge in their supposed nationalistic ambitions, which they themselves have always said is just a ploy to get rid of Israel. They consider themselves Arabs. They'd be happy to be part of southern Syria. But we have to stop indulging that anymore, because it's costing lives and it's costing time. And the only language they will understand is one of strength and clarity. And so to the Arabs that wish to live alongside us in peace, as many Israeli Arabs do, wonderful. But those that don't, Israel should deal with them in whatever way can ensure their security, Israel's security. There are some paradigm shifts that are going to need to occur, but clearly, I don't think the message could be any clearer. The last however many months since October 7th have made clear that all the paradigms that we've tried to dance to, whether it be on trying to work towards peace and a two-state solution, or saying, oh, well, it's just small pockets of terrorism, but most of them just want peace and they're innocent civilians. All these notions are coming crashing down. These notions that, oh, if we try and be really targeted and precise in our approach, even if it's at the expense of soldiers, then the West will at least respect us. We've had the highest, most impressive ratio of terrorists to civilian killed in Gaza, and yet the world doesn't care. So many paradigms of old are being shattered, and it's time that we realise that and make the necessary paradigm shifts. Hi, thank you so much for watching. To watch another one, click here. To stay up to date with all our content, click here to subscribe. And if you're able to, you can help support JTV to grow and grow by clicking join below this video, where you can become a member and get perks including early access to videos and private live discussions with me. But most of all, you'll be partnering with us on our mission to change the world.